Hey, so I'm having a branding dilemma and I need your help with it. Not with the Missing Link brand specifically, but with branding generally. Like, I'm struggling with this concept and I wanted to share my ideas with you, and then I'd love to hear what you think about it. So I really do hope this time that you do absolutely stick around. Welcome to Lead Loud. My name is Rich Mulholland. I'm the founder and chief evangelist of the presentation powerhouse brand called Missing Link. No, it's not a brand. It's a company. We're going to get to that in a second. Actually, we're going to get to that right now because I think it's fundamentally important that we have a shared commonplace, a point of departure from which we can start this discussion. In fact, anytime that I'm coaching somebody and presenting, that's the first thing you have to do, create a commonplace. Now, my opinions on branding, I've actually written about them before. In fact, in my first book, Legicide, I have a chapter aptly titled Brand Building, Schmolding, which kind of tells you maybe all you need to know about it. But let's define this thing. Let's do that before we get started.
Let's go! Come on, everybody, we're going! Here we go!
A brand for me is a very simple concept, right? It is a piece of land that you or your business inhabit in somebody else's brain. It's not your logo or your CI. It is the sum total of all of their interactions that have led to them having an opinion about you. So your brand then at a more macro scale is simply a collective sentiment created by those shared opinions. Right? Your logo and corporate identity is simply the location marker that we use to recall that opinion when it's necessary. I'm not saying that those logos are unimportant. I just don't think that they are the brand. So when companies refer to a logo change as rebranding, like, I call bullshit on that. You've not rebranded. All you've done is given me a new visual representation for my opinions and memories about you. You've written a check that you haven't cashed yet.
Your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I saw recently one of the big South African banks, FNB, just rebranded. It changed its logo, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say for 5 minutes because nobody actually cares.
No, he's got a point.
But, has my opinion on FNB as a whole changed? No, of course not. Like, obviously not. So am I saying that this is wasteful? Well, yes and no. Let's start with a yes. Do I truly believe that the ridiculous amounts of money that companies are spending with branding agencies doing this research on what the angle of the letter I means in your logo form is anything other than snake oil? I think it's completely wasteful. It's ridiculous. However, is the act of change ridiculous? Well, no, I don't think so. You see, if you're giving your staff a new reason to believe that something is changing, and you give them a visual representation of a change that is expected, then my opinions, my brand as a consumer may change as well. So I think it can be a very, very powerful tool, but I don't think we're using it correctly. Anyway, there you have it. My definition of a brand. This leads me to my dilemma. You see, for the first 20 years of Missing Link's history, we had no logo or corporate identity. At least we used them, but they weren't fixed. We had a collectible series of business cards. Our website was reskinned every month. People literally mailed us asking us to send them copies of our business card. Now, you see, this was because I saw logos as the laziest form of branding. My belief was very, very simple, that if we instead created this remarkable experience that was attached to incredible presentation work we did, that would be bigger and better from a brand building standpoint. And I would argue that we were fundamentally correct. We got more column inches and more TV and radio time than any of our competitors that I could think of. Right? Missing Link was built, more importantly, on the back of word of mouth marketing. We didn't have to go to people, they came to us.
If you build it, he will come.
Because we made it impossible for people not to talk about us. They would talk about the experience that they had working with us, and hopefully they would talk about the work that we did with them too. But let's fast forward to today. You see, we now have a fairly established logo and CI, and if you look at our marketing, at our social posts, our websites, and an adjective that you'd be perfectly reasonable in using to describe us is consistent. However, if the strongest association that you have to Missing Link is the consistency of our logo and the colors of our corporate identity, then how fucking sad is that? I've always found that the less your brand relies on the intangibles like that, the more interesting it is. And I worry that maybe we're not that interesting anymore. So I think that we've wrapped ourselves as a business in this safety blanket of consistency. And I think we're harder to talk about as a result. And the data backs this up.
Did I do that?
You see, consistency by its very nature is unremarkable. Consistency is boring, and Missing Link prides itself on being the solution to boring presentations. Heck, our presentation training, our remarkable presentation training that gets all these rave reviews, is referred to as Boredom Slayers for a reason. Well, if we pride ourselves on that, are we not branding ourselves into the opposite direction? I think maybe we are. And my question today is, if I do throw out the consistency of the logo, am I not maybe throwing out the baby with the bathwater? I mean, can we not go back to being fun and remarkable, but just keep that visual location pin to make it easier for people to find us when they need to? Well, I guess that we can, but I'm worried that it does feel a little bit like we're trying to tightrope across the Grand Canyon, but with a safety net. So that's what I'm struggling with. And I'd love to have a discussion on the topic. So please make sure that you leave your ideas and your thoughts for us, but generally in the comments down below. After all, if there is one thing that I have always been consistent on in this channel, is how much I want you all to lead loud. And if you do want to help spread this word of my story, definitely share this video, definitely get more opinions, and for goodness sake, like and subscribe. What are you even here for?